Welcome, everybody, to Stop the Madness podcast by Digital Thinker. I'm Alex Bolan, and
I am Ben Risko. Man, I'm just like recovering from last week's episode. I just felt like I was so stiff, you know. And it's the first episode jitters, you know. And we want to keep it very, loose and let you guys kind of see our personality, and I think just kind of getting that first one out of the way will be good.
Yeah, it will be.
Moved around, got stretched out. I'm ready for this week. And man, we have a good one for you. And by good, I mean freaking great. If you want to go ahead, Alex, and introduce, who we have on, and then we can kind of just mix it up and talk through some, what's been going on.
Yeah, exactly. So, we had Angela Overstreet join us on episode 1 from Hexagon. She heads up the hospitality, account management and sales side of the Hexagon ALI division, not just EAM, multiple product standpoints. Mm-hmm. And we had a good conversation around why. Why is asset management important to these individuals, and where do you begin? I think that was another good thing we talked about. And then this episode coming up too, man, we got a ringer. I didn't realize how much of a ringer he really was. Don Farrell just gonna bring the heat. He's absolutely gonna drop some knowledge on us. We're gonna talk about culture. We're gonna talk a lot about culture. I think cat's out of the bag. We're recording the intro to this after we did the episode. Don't care. That's fine. That's just how things work sometimes. We spent so much time talking about culture, and that's where the money's at. It really is. And man, Don, I'm almost starstruck by Don at this point in time. His personality, it just really brought it out. He was so fun to talk to and hear his stories and experiences. But we learned a lot, not only how maintenance is tied into the operations side of things, but the customer side of things, the guest services side of the house. And then we talked a lot about, earning loyalty, not only from your customer, but from within the organization and all of your employees, and how maintenance directly impacts what that is. So Don was awesome. I don't know, man. What was your quick take on that?
Yeah,
I mean, tee it up.
I think you all will very much enjoy this this coming interview and this episode. I think there are a lot of different folks that are going to be watching or listening to our podcast, and they come from different backgrounds, different industries. And so I think the big thing that I took out of this, we're on our hospitality series, but tying it into, our purpose of making maintenance matter, there are a lot of similarities that I drew from the hospitality that Don was talking about to all the other industries that we see that are asset intensive. So really excited for this episode and for you all to listen in, because Don is fantastic. He even dropped his phone number for you. So keep an ear out for that if you need to give him a call for anything. Really exciting. So we're just ready to roll with episode 2. Thank you all again for joining in. I'll go ahead and just say, just keeping it light. What's been going on with you, man?
Man, trying to raise 2 kids. Trying to raise 2 kids and fix my house where it need be, and getting ready for this thing. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't sleep great last night, not because of the kids, but because I was actually really excited about doing this thing today. Mm-hmm. So you mentioned, getting the nervous Nellies out, dude. You're right. I felt a little stiff on episode 1. It's still a good one. Don't get me wrong, but I think we're really finding the groove here. We got into a good conversation with Don, and it just makes me even 10 times more excited to keep going, because, again, like, the things that matter, people, the process, and the technology. And I don't mean to digress back into that, because you asked me how I'm doing, but I'm doing good, man. Yeah. And if I can shake this freaking allergy piece, South Carolina in the fall and the spring, horrible for allergies, by the way. I'm just ready to be done with it. Mm-hmm. And, man, I'm also excited for cooler weather. Yeah. The summer's been brutal. But that's what's going on in my world. Oh man, we're moving into a new office, by the way.
Yeah, so that's a little bit of a spoiler on what Digital Thinker's up to. We have found a new office. If you didn't know, we've been remote for a little bit. So just kind of working through that, and then we got to a point where Alex and myself and Rory behind the camera, our third piece to our trio, we all were like, we cannot be at home much longer. We got to be face to face, and
That's right.
I think that's a big piece of who we are. And just for those of you that don't know Digital Thinker, getting a glimpse into, how we are with each other, with our customers, with our partners. You've already seen us interacting with Angela from Hexagon. Our partnership with Hexagon is great, and so we like being face to face, having real conversations, and just being ourselves. So we're hoping that so far through episode 1 and now with episode 2, you've kind of gotten a glimpse into, who we are and what we stand for. And so we'll continue to kind of dive into that as we get going. Little peek behind the curtain. As you see, we don't have anything on the table in front of us. We are just kind of like letting it roll for most of this. But you will see we have some for our upcoming interview this episode, just have some questions and we'll reference it throughout. But, we just want to keep it light and let you all just listen in and try to learn from what we're talking about. We're not going to ever say that we're certifiable experts at anything. We really just want to just let the camera roll and us kind of talk through things. And, hopefully through us learning from the guests that we have on, or, some of the debates that we'll get into in future episodes, like we just want to create a platform for everybody to check in, no matter where they're from or what job they do, and just, try to find something valuable out of it. And so that's what our goal is. So
that's right.
Unless you have any other final comments, we're going to turn it over to ourselves in an interview with Don and Angela.
Yeah, it's going to be good. So enjoy it, guys. We'll see you on the next one.
Yep.
Today we have 2 featured guests on Stop the Madness, and man, I can't wait to dive into what kind of madness we're going to try to stop today. Joining us again, we have Angela Overstreet from Hexagon. You may remember her from episode 1. We're excited to have Angela here with us again, but also joining us, we have Don Farrell, who is a real deal, or as you say, a real McCoy, industry expert who understands the hospitality industry up, down, inside, and out. He is going to probably be a wisdom tree, I would imagine, today. We're going to learn a lot from him on the complexities of the hospitality industry, why asset management is important, maintenance and reliability is also important to that, and he's going to, shed some light into hopefully shed some light into a lot of things for us today. I need a lot more light in my life, to be honest with you.
I agree. Yep. Yeah. I am an empty canvas, and I'm just ready for you guys to just paint. Just teach me what to do.
You like the scene out of Titanic, just paint me.
I don't know if I can meander my body in that position, but I can certainly
try.
I can try. For you guys, I will.
Yeah. Well, Angela, Don, welcome us, or not welcome us. Good Lord, what am I trying to say? Welcome to the Stop the Madness episode 2 here. Don, I want to start with you. Could you give us just a, what do you do, man? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Great question. I have the world's greatest job, Alex. I get to work with a lot of hoteliers, showing them how to make a lot more money. And we do that in a few different ways. I can do speaking events, we do consulting, but the majority of our work is actual training and the reinforcement of the training, because 99% of the training fails out there because it's not reinforced.
Yeah.
It's not tracked. It's not coached. It's not tied to an incentive. We don't account for turnover, that kind of stuff. So unless people are willing to do that, they're probably going to fail in their mission. But that's what we do for a living, and it's sales, service, leadership, and culture. All
those
tactical,
are some
practical stuff and fun.
Yeah,
so
that is.
Yeah.
That is good stuff. I love hearing that. I guess let's drill down on a little bit more on that, Don.
Sure.
I want to hear a little bit more about, I guess, just some of the industry expertise that you have. You mentioned hoteliers. Dive a little bit deeper. I mean, you obviously don't have to name any names if you can't, but I guess just give me a snapshot on what a typical client engagement looks like for you.
Great question. So clients that run into us through speaking events will come up to the stage and say, hey, look, I like what you did. Can you do it for my people? And typically the answer would be yes. And we get into it. We conduct an assessment on low-lying fruit. What does that look like? So Alex, what we'll do is we'll call the hotel, try to make a reservation, record the call, send those calls to the client to say, this is your reality trip, right? Call the sales office, try to book a conference of 25 rooms with a dinner and a meeting, and send those calls to the client. And what they typically find in 99.999% of the cases is they could be a lot better, right?
Mm.
So that's where we start. And then we get into the service of the hotel. How do we deliver more than the guest expects? Because everybody thinks we're supposed to deliver satisfaction. But you heard it here maybe first, guys. Ready? It's not satisfaction. It's the loyalty we need to be delivering, where people will keep coming back. They'll keep telling others about their great experience. And oh, by the way, look at all the opportunities, as you guys well know, for something to go wrong in a hotel. And if it does, and you've got a loyal consumer, a loyal guest, they're going to be a lot more forgiving. So loyalty is where it's at. And the only way you can get loyalty is to surprise people in a good way. So whatever they ask for, whatever they need, you're delivering more than. Okay. And then the last thing is leadership. I mean, we're in a bad way, guys. Ever since COVID, we're 30% short of staffing.
Yeah.
And we're promoting people that worked a front desk 2 years ago into being a GM of a 15, 18, $20 million asset. And they haven't been to a couple of rodeos and a World's Fair yet, so they don't know what they don't know. So God love them, but they need help. So that's where we come in.
Dude, I feel like you just took me to church, man. Like I'm about ready to stand up and start dancing over here. This was, God.
Sing the praises.
Dude, you come out the gate swinging. Ooh.
You know, you can't mess around. We don't have a lot of time.
You can't.
We got to come right to the chase.
Yeah, you're absolutely. You got to stop the madness, man. You got to get straight to it.
Yes.
I love what you said about the misconception, because we just spent this first episode a little while ago talking about it. You know, that guest satisfaction is high and important, but Don, you set the record straight here, man. And you know, maybe we can. No, we're not going to go back in post and fix it. I'm just going to make the correction on the spot right here and right now. If you watched episode 1 and, you know, we closed out with why is asset management important to hospitality, let's make the correction that, you know, guest satisfaction, it is important. I'm not saying it's not. But the loyalty component, you're absolutely right. You know, I was given an example, Don, where my family, so my wife and my 2.5-year-old and my 5-month-old, we all took a trip to Michigan and we flew. First time we flew with the kids on the airplane. And it was a good experience. We flew Delta, no paid ad here, so I'm not getting any kickbacks. Don't worry about it. But it was a positive experience. And you're right, had a positive experience. And if I do have a negative experience in the future, I'm probably a little more forgiving on it, that I've had more good outcomes than not, right? But I will say, and you know, I hope I don't get a cease and desist out of this, but American Airlines has kind of burned me a few times with just not only lost luggage, delayed flights. It's enough to where, you know, my wife is like, you're just a Delta guy. You just want to spend the money on Delta. I'm like, it's because I know they're going to deliver a reliable service, right? And more times than not, it's going to be good. She's going to watch this and roast me over this. So we'll see you guys in the doghouse later. But
that would be something else. So it might as well be that.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
And listen to all the people that heard what you had to say.
Yeah.
Delta versus American, you know, and that's loyalty, buddy.
It is.
People have to earn it. So.
Absolutely. Well, Don, thanks for explaining a little bit of who you are and what you do. You know, Angela, I know this is round 2, but just for those of you who maybe didn't tune in on the first go around, give us another, you know, quick little 35,000-foot view. Who are you? What do you do?
Yeah, glad to be here again, Alex, Ben, and good to be with you, Don, as well. Good to see you again.
You too.
Yeah. So really, what I do it's the education piece, and it's more on the asset management, maintenance management side. So the training piece that Don talks about would be relevant to a piece of what I do. And we train and educate people to essentially realize that there's a better way than having to be reactive to your maintenance methods. There's more methodologies out there that you can adopt, and being able to understand internally where your current state is, kind of to the whole training, where your current state is how you can learn to grow and be able to adopt these new methodologies and what's available. So mostly education, and then I sell software that meets those needs. But as we mentioned in the last episode, if you don't have a strong foundation in terms of your methodologies and your processes and the training piece, then the software is just it's no good if you don't have those things foundationally stable. So that's the high level from the Hexagon side of things.
Ben, I'm going to put you on the spot today, buddy.
Hit me.
Don, man, he set the bar high. Angela did an excellent job as well. For maybe some of those that are new to us, why don't you give us the rundown? Who's Digital Thinker? Who are we, man? What are we doing? How do we fit into this puzzle piece?
That's
right?
Great. You've just asked a great question to the newest of all the Digital Thinker employees. Granted, I've been here for months and months, so I kind of know the thing, but this is kind of a pop quiz. So I'm glad we're doing it live on air, not live on air, but on podcast. So for those that don't know, Alex and I are part of Digital Thinker. And so aside from stopping the madness, we are a licensed reseller and implementation support services provider for Hexagon's EAM Enterprise Asset Management solution. But we do a little bit more. We have added a few other products from Hexagon's portfolio to our portfolio. And really our focus is around the maintenance excellence ecosystem. That's kind of what we call our solutions. And so, we're coming into this Stop the Madness podcast focused around, trying to avoid a lot of the big hype buzzwords and, getting back to what it's all about. It's the people in the process and doing fundamentals the right way. And so trying to take that approach and that lens for what we do, which is supporting and selling a particular kind of software, we're trying to break the mold a little bit and, not just be about this product that you buy is going to save everything and it's going to just lift you up to the highest of highs. No, it's going to support you, and we're here to guide. Really, we're not about trying to come in and be a hero and win everything. It's about our customers and giving them the support that they need. So we kind of do a wide array of things from implementation to support to technical services, really do all of that. But our focus really is around making maintenance matter to not just the folks that do maintenance day to day, but the entire organization. And I think we'll probably talk with Don today about, what that's like to have a maintenance first culture, making it important because there are a lot of ties from maintenance that go to different parts of your organization. I mean, it is deeply rooted in finance. So you've got a CFO. Does your CFO know how important maintenance is to what they do? You've got an HR person, chief of people. Are your people happy? Do they have the tools that they need to succeed? Yeah. So there's a lot of different pieces of where maintenance fits into culture, and, connecting and bridging that divide from maintenance to operations to the rest of the organization is kind of what our mission and goal is.
Spot on, Ben. We are trying to bridge the divide between operations and maintenance, one mind at a time. And Ben's right. We do have we don't have to get too much into the product component of it, but we do have what we're coining as the maintenance excellence ecosystem, and it's more than just EAM, right? Like Angela knows these products well. J5, APM, asset performance management, accelerator, knowledge management, procedural management type solution, and then quality control. All of those things are critical components to maintenance excellence, and I'm sure Don can agree, and Angela. You cannot have operational excellence without maintenance excellence. You have to have part of that. That is one of the core pillars. So good stuff, man. I love it. And you're absolutely right. I do want to, you said one thing, and I want to get an opinion. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see where this goes. You mentioned a lot of the fluff out there is this will save you and eliminate all your problems. I think I mentioned this on another podcast a couple weeks ago. If you go to almost every website for a technology provider around maintenance, I think there's this sentence, and it's a variation of the sentence on the front page of every single one. I see Don nodding his head. He already knows what I'm about to say. Eliminate downtime. Eliminate it. You can't. I think you can try really hard. You can't get rid of it. It's the uncomfortable and ugly truth that we talked about this last episode. Pardon my language. Shit's going to break. It's going to break. And we're going to have problems with it. And we got to deal with it as it comes in. So what I was going to mention is I think more times than not when people get into an EAM or a CMMS, they expose more problems than they thought they had. And it could be really discouraging, right? It's like, oh, Christ, this is not good. The baby's really ugly now. Now we got to deal with it. But, you put that into simple equation terms, right? Like if you're like I was in my early 20s, just spending money because I had to spend it. And then I had the brutal reality via Dave Ramsey course to, I didn't know what I was spending and what I was spending it on. And it was a humbling moment to learn how to regain financial control of my life. But in the same sense of, maintenance, you probably really don't know what's going on until you can put a spotlight on it. So it's not going to fix your problems. It might open up more can of worms, to be honest. And that's an expectation that we as vendors need to be setting for our clients, customers, regardless of, hey, this is a process. It might hurt more before it gets better, right? But that's part of healing. That's part of getting better. So anyway, I digress off of that. Don, we got some questions for you. You supplied a couple of them. So not that we're scripted or anything, but this is very good talking points. And so I'm really eager and anxious to get into this with you. And, we're keeping it pretty lighthearted here, and we're trying to keep it relatively spontaneous. So what I'm going to say is the expectation set for all of us and our listeners too, right? Angela, chime in when you can and when you want to, right? On anything that, I say Don says, or if we ask a question and you want to expand upon it, just jump in there. YouTube in. I'm going to try my best not to talk too much. I could talk to a brick wall all day, every day. And
unfortunately, I'm the brick wall.
Yeah, Ben is my brick wall.
Set that expectation.
Yeah, he is my brick wall.
That was great.
That is good. So, Don, I'm gonna kick this thing off, man, and let's get your take on this. I've got the sheet here of things that I printed off from the email you gave me, so I'm not going to go in any particular order.
And listen, you can go off road, man. It's okay.
Put it in 4-wheel drive. Let's go.
Yeah.
Take the mud flaps off. Let's get dirty.
Yes.
Maybe not. That was a little weird, but this is one piece I'm very interested in. I think I really think we don't talk about this enough. And this is, Don, you're going to love this. I'm a CFO, Chief Financial Officer, for those of you who don't know. Why would I want to pay attention to maintenance and reliability or maintenance management and the technology that supports it? Why should it be important to me, who's constantly looking to optimize and cut costs where I can?
Great question. And I loved where you started off, Ben, where you connected the dots with culture. Because if you say maintenance and culture in the same sentence, a lot of people haven't heard those two words together, right? And neither have CFOs for that matter. But a really smart, really good CFO, and I'd love to say they're in the majority. They're not. They're in the minority. But if you want to be in the minority and more elite, you will tie culture into your calculations, and you will certainly tie maintenance into your calculations. So I'm a CFO. Why should I pay attention to maintenance? Why should I pay attention to a culture that drives maintenance? Because obviously it protects the asset. If I protect my maintenance facility, it protects the asset, right? How does that impact the culture? Because I'm going to keep dragging that word in, because that's the single most important thing a leader of any company has to manage, right? When you get that part right, turnover goes down, revenues go up, your building is run better. So picture this poor housekeeper. She's cleaning 13, 15, 18 rooms a day. She's reported that light bulb being burnt out for 3 straight days, and this is broken and that's busted. And nobody responds, and she gives up. She doesn't report it anymore because it doesn't do any good. And as a result, this stuff starts adding up in a hotel, and you can see how ugly it gets, right? So now I'm a front desk associate, and I'm hearing the complaints from the guests left and right. That has wear and tear on your culture, man. We've got 144% turnover at our front desks in the hotel world. I've got clients that call me up and say, Farrell, we're down to 100%. And they're very proud of themselves. Can you imagine IBM calling up saying, hey, we got 100% turnover? They'd be bankrupt, right? But we're proud of our 100% because it's down from 144%.
Wow.
Now, this wear and tear on our people, some of it is due to the fact that we don't attend to the challenges and problems that are being reported, not only by the guests, but our own people. And that impacts your culture.
Yeah.
Does that all make sense? Because you started this ball rolling, Ben, and you're right. Connecting the dots between maintenance and culture, it's real. It's live, So
Absolutely. And I think to add to that and kind of pose another question your way, you started off talking about not just customer satisfaction, but loyalty. And I think loyalty, we're not just talking about customer loyalty based on what you've just told us. it's also the loyalty of your people, the people in your organization. Are they loyal to what your goal and mission is, your culture? Where do you start with building that loyalty? You know, people can come in and do a great job and great work, but where do you start to build that loyalty? Like for our listeners who are in a good spot, they feel like they have the right folks on their team, they've hired well, but it just doesn't feel like things are moving forward. They're maybe feeling behind, or like they are having to react to fires happening across the business every day. Where do you start with that loyalty?
You start by asking the question on the interview. The greatest thing that you're looking for is somebody with a personality. Let's pretend it's front desk. Okay, you're looking for someone with a personality. You can teach them all the other stuff. You can teach them how to check people in, check them out, how to work the fire alarm when that goes off. You can teach them all that stuff. It's hard to teach them how to have a personality. It's not impossible, but it's hard, right? So you're starting there, and you're communicating to this individual who thinks they're looking for a job, Ben, that they really should be looking for a career. Now, they may not want to be in the hotel world for the rest of their life, but you're teaching them career skills they can use with whatever job they want to have someday, whatever career they want to have. I want to be a CPA, I want to be a fireman. Doesn't matter. You have to have communication skills. You got to be able to multitask. You got to have some sort of computer skills. Being able to give change for $1 is pretty important, you know? So all these skills could be taught at the front desk in the hotel. So we're teaching you career skills, man. We care about you. We care more about you. We want to do more for you because quite frankly, we know we're not going to have loyal guests if we don't have loyal associates. So we have to earn it on both fronts, right? Those are smart operators. And I wish I could tell you, Alex, that the majority are smart, but they're not.
Yeah.
But they need to hear this, right?
Yeah.
So
you said one word that I wish it could have been louder. You said earn. We have to earn it.
I love that word.
Ooh.
That's good.
Ooh.
And how often do you have to earn it, buddy? You have to earn it every minute of every day.
Every day.
So,
that's right.
Every minute of every day. So, you know, you ask someone, what is the key to success? And somebody might say consistency. And that is the wrong answer, brothers and sisters. The right answer is getting better every minute of every day.
Hallelujah.
You don't want to be consistent because, again, all you're doing is satisfying someone because they're getting what they expect. We have to keep surprising them.
Ooh.
So the minute we start saying, oh, Charlie stays with us all the time. Oh, that company uses us all the time. We don't have to worry about them. You're in deep doo-doo, people. Because the minute you don't think you have to earn that trust and earn their business, then you're in trouble. Somebody's going to come along and liberate it from you, and you deserve to lose it, right? Including your people. People are going to liberate your people, and you deserve to lose them if you don't earn it.
It's exactly true. I say a lifetime ago. It was really not that long ago. I had experience as a headhunter recruiter, right? So I was that guy snatching your top talent from organizations to the next. And funny enough, this is no lie. This is no BS. This is 100% true. Like I have to lead that I'm a regular liar. Sorry, I had to do that. Just in case anybody was wondering, I'm not a liar.
Not a lie for the next 10 minutes. Get ready. Here we go.
But I worked a role. It was I think it was a general manager for a golf resort and hotel chain in California, Southern California, San Diego, Arizona. I think they had multiple properties in like Laguna Beach or not Laguna Beach. What's that place just north of San Diego?
Coronado?
Oceanside.
No, Coronado, close. They did have one on Coronado. I'm trying to think of either way. It's near the San Diego area. I digress from that. Anyway, I found this GM from their direct competitor because that was part of the customer onboarding phase. Is like, who are your top competitors and why are they kicking you butt? Well, these are our top 3 competitors and they're kicking our butt because XYZ reason. Okay, so if I go and find you this GM and bring them to you, is that what you want as far as building a culture, taking this place to the next level, right? And 9 out of 10 times the answer is, yeah, that's the guy I want. And then comes the fun part, right? So the reason I bring that up, Don, is you're right. If you can't earn the loyalty both from the customer side and the employee side of it, the people that are running the show day to day, they're gone. A very crude way, they're gone like a fart in the wind, man. They're just gone. and you don't want that to leave, because that's going to put you in a big bind. It's almost like starting from scratch. Ben, you mentioned on the first episode, it takes years to build and earn trust, but it takes a second to lose it, right? Same way when you're trying to build a culture, put the right people on the bus, get them in the right seat. So I just really wanted to shed a light on that earn component of it. And man, Don, there's another thing. I feel like we're just, like Wayne's World, we're groveling at Don's feet here. We're not worthy. We're not worthy. But you had another good point.
I'll be all right. Just throw some money.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. You had another good point of, from your side of the fence, you got to give them the God's honest truth. You can't placate to what they want, so to speak. I say what they want. You got to tell them what they need. And I think it's similar on our side of the fence too, whether we're trying to implement software or provide training on the software or whatever the case we're doing for the maintenance and reliability component. We got to set the expectation that the ego's got to be left at the door. We're here to fix. We're here to have continuous improvement, right? It's exactly what it means, continuous improvement. It's not pointing fingers at anybody for doing a bad job. It's just recognizing maybe we can do it better. And there's people out there like Don that can show us how to do it better, which is just, again, it's all about a mindset shift, right? Like it's just a tiny little pivot on that mindset. So that being said, Don, I'm going to ask you this next one. What makes you an expert at hotel maintenance issues, and the question got cut off a little bit, or what can it mean to a hotel's performance? So again, asking the question, what makes you such an expert on this? Why are we talking to you today? And, what does maintenance have to do with the hotel's performance?
Well, first of all, I am not an HVAC expert. So if your air conditioner goes down, I'm not the guy you send in to fix it, right?
Okay.
But I am the guy to help you fix what happens as a result of not having PM programs, as a result of not fixing things, as a result of not having the right culture, as a result of waiting for the guest to tell us we're screwed up, as opposed to going out and finding it on our own. So I've owned a training company since 1990, and my first company was the largest in the world. We have licensees in 44 countries. We had well over 10,000 hospitality clients, not hotels, clients, and some of those had 1,800 hotels, some had 3,000. So we've spent a lot of time in the hotel world and certainly stayed in hotels, and certainly I've worked in hotels where I've seen the cumulative effect of not paying attention, right? So I'm not an HVAC expert, but I am an expert on what happens if you don't keep your stuff fixed, right? So people are spending $120, $130, $230 a night. Don't you think they deserve a toilet tank that doesn't run, right? And the number of times I see it handled so poorly, Angela. Guest comes down as an example. Guest comes down in the morning, and the front desk is paid to ask the question, even though they don't mean it sometimes. So how was your stay? As they're looking around, they're really not paying attention. The guest feels that, but the guest just takes a stab at it and says, well, everything was great except the toilet tank was running all night. And the front desk, of course, will say something like, maybe, well, did you call us and let us know? Because if we don't know, we can't fix it. And now we're telling the guest, you got to punch in. You got to tell us things are broken because that's your job, right? As opposed to what their real mindset should be. And that is they deserve, if it's $200 a night they're spending, they deserve $400 worth of service and product, right? Again, it's delivering more than people expect. So we don't know how to handle it when something bad happens, and we don't know how to necessarily go out and find it to the best of our abilities. So,
and I think you hit on a good spot there. To Alex's point, there's going to be downtime. There's no way to exempt downtime from happening. It's the response to downtime that is so crucial, to your point, Don, that comes down to the education piece, that comes down to the training piece, and how crucial in creating the culture of how we respond to these downtimes that happen. And it's a really big deal. It all comes down to education and facing the truth. I think the truth is the thing that stops the madness. Yeah.
When you mess up, you fess up and you fix it. And and you got to deliver. And let's say they're checking out and the problem happened last night. I can't fix history, right? But I can fix it going forward.
Mm-hmm.
So what am I empowered to do at that desk to really get that guest to really want to come back, right? What am I empowered to do? And the second you say, geez, I can't do that, guest, let me check with my boss, we'll get back to you, then you've put handcuffs on your people. They have to be absolutely positively empowered to do whatever it takes on the guest's behalf. And if they make a mistake, and they will, Ben, they will make a mistake, but you know what? We need to have the philosophy that says, make a mistake on behalf of the guest, not on behalf of the operation. Mm-hmm. We need to become guest-focused, not guest-centric, I should say. Guest-centric, not operation-centric, which is what we are sometimes when we say, geez, I'm not empowered to give you what you want, guest. So let somebody who is smarter than me get back to you on that kind of thing. So let's be guest-centric, not operation-centric.
Mm.
Yeah.
And that's trust, right?
Oh yeah.
The management has to trust one in their ability to train, that they train them effectively, created the culture they created, and then release them and trust them to do what they trained them to do.
Yeah. We even teach people how to apologize the right way because
I love that.
It doesn't come out right.
Heck yeah.
You talk about your American Airlines, even Delta. Delta's my favorite also. But even Delta, something goes wrong, they're so used to things going wrong, they don't even apologize anymore. It's like, yeah, your flight's delayed. Next.
Yeah.
So we have to learn how to apologize the right way. And we actually have to role play that in our classes, and we do. So
that's so crucial. I love it. These are skills that are not just so focused to hospitality, right? Like I feel like these are really a guidebook to life, whether you're, married, you have kids, you're a leader in the community, regardless of what you do, right? Like just the basic principle of communicating just clears up so much. It makes, it can make everything easier. I mentioned on last episode, Don, I was an EMT for a little while for my local county 911 system. I learned the hard way how to communicate well and not well with people. I learned real quick how to de-escalate a drunk man at 2 o'clock in the morning who was ready to whoop my ass because I didn't feel like fighting that night. There's probably a few times where I was welcoming it and was ready to rustle and tussle in the grass. But as I got a little older and learned, getting hit in the face hurts, I don't want to do that anymore. So it's all about, I say, de-escalation in some ways. But what I think, again, coming back to the important side of the communication effort, right? Like if you can apologize, I hate to say correctly, but if you can communicate that apology really well, it is the difference between it being incredibly sincere and somebody portraying that they care about your experience and that they're going to do something about it. I think the biggest thing is, you talk about integrity or any of those other character traits. If you're going to say you're going to do something, are you going to follow through with it? Are you going to do it? And that's more than just, being a leader. It's an organizational thing too. I mean, it's still people at the end of the day, right? People have to follow through with it. But if you can portray that, that's how you're going to continue to earn that loyalty every second of every day. Mm-hmm. Really good stuff. I've been dominating the questions, Ben, so I'm going to kick it over to you for like the next one or two.
Yeah, and I think we've kind of done some good touch points around, culture and the connection. I kind of want to hear from Don and even Angela too afterwards. For our listeners, there are probably folks from across different industries, not necessarily tied to hospitality. I'm curious personally because I love a good story from each of you. We can start with Don. What's a maintenance disaster, quote unquote? What's something that happened for maybe a client of yours or a business, something that you've experienced in hotel maintenance and management? Tell us a little bit about that. It can be crazy, not so crazy. I think my goal in asking this is I want to try to show the listeners, just because it's in another industry, there are probably lessons there that transcend across lines. And, we're all kind of fighting the same fight.
Yeah.
So, I'm curious to hear a story, maybe what a resolution would have been from that on kind of a breakdown or something crazy that happened.
All right, I'm going to ramble here, so edit it as on your free will here.
Let
Ready?
it rip. I'm excited for
So
this. Whew.
I've worked in hotels where the hurricane decimated it. I've worked in hotels with tornadoes. I've worked in hotels that floods came through. I've worked in hotels where the fourth floor burnt down. I've worked in hotels where there's suicides. All that stuff happens. And in my opinion, that's still not the worst. The worst thing that happens isn't that one incident. It's the everyday wear and tear grind on a hotel, and we're not paying attention. We've got one maintenance man in our 119 room focus service hotel, and we're saying he or she can maintain the property and do preventive maintenance at the same time. And let's just face it, there's a lot of cases where you can't do that. And as a result, the wear and tear on the asset really starts to show, and that has an effect on the employees. So I think, Ben, to be honest with you, that is the greatest catastrophe, and it's happening one slice at a time, right? But here's a good story. My favorite GM I ever worked for in my entire life, and I started in the business in the lowest position you can possibly have, some would say. And if you're a general manager, you say general manager, but that's not the right answer. It's actually a pot scrubber at a Marriott hotel in Milwaukee is where I got my start. And you know you're a pot scrubber when they don't trust you with the dishwashing machine because they think you're going to hurt yourself. So like, Don Farrell, we're not going to give you the dishwasher right away because you might just get swallowed up. So we're going to give you pots to clean. That's where I started, right? And in all these years of working for different GMs and different properties, my favorite general manager did this. Ready? In the morning, he'd get in, say, 7:30, 7:45. His chief engineer was on his right side. His executive housekeeper was on his left side. Now, typically in a hotel, we're supposed to play nice together, but those two departments don't always play nice. Front desk doesn't always play nice with housekeepers because we can't get clean rooms fast enough. And housekeeping's like, we're doing the best we can, stop screaming at us. And maintenance isn't fixing what housekeeping is supposed to be telling them to fix. And it goes on and on and on, this kind of vicious cycle. So by pulling these two people together, first of all, makes them work together. But what he would do, guys, is this. He would walk not every square inch of the property in the morning, but most of it. I'd say 70% of the property. He would walk, and they would be taking notes. He'd say, what about the mulch? And what about this? And who's fixing that? And what about this? And why can't we this? And they're writing notes on their pad, right? Guess what he does at 5:30, 6 o'clock before he goes home? He takes them on another tour, and he wants to know what they fixed today. And if it wasn't fixed today, when is it going to get fixed? Now, that sounds really simple, right? But I would bet the ranch that there's a vast majority of GMs that don't do that. And it is so fundamental. And you want to be the best friend of your sales department? Do that. Here's another story. I have worked at a hotel where it was harder to book them, the account, the client, the second time than it was the first time. That's a sad hotel to work in. It's not as clean as it should be, and the maintenance isn't what it should be. I worked in that same hotel where you had two screws holding on the wall sconces, the light sconces in the hallway. Well, we didn't allow maintenance to go buy anything, so they had to take one of the screws out. So now you had one screw holding the light sconce on. So if you walked real fast in the hallway and you created a wind, those lights would be turning. How sad is it for the director of sales, me, to have to go up on the third floor, because those are the rooms I'm going to be showing a new prospect, to straighten all the lights out? What does that do for your culture? What does that do? I could be selling, and instead I'm straightening lights, right? Those are a couple of quick stories for you. The best GM I ever worked for and with, the hardest hotel to sell is the hotel where you got to sell it harder the second time because they don't want to come back because it wasn't what they thought they were going to get. That's a sad place to work, right? It may be a better salesperson, but it's a very frustrating place to work, right? Mm-hmm. So I could keep going on and on, but you get the gist of it, right?
Yeah, I love the piece about, and this is me kind of just pulling a part of the story, but you talked about the GM who's actually out walking. I mean, for all the industries we work with and we hear stories from, leadership comes into play as far as setting the tone, setting the culture. But once you set it, it depends on who you're working with. Some leaders just kind of sit in the office and they're not engaged. So it's not just leadership, it's engaged, it's involved leadership, and there is a mission of wanting to be a part of the team, no matter what role or title they slap at the end of your name or email signature. I think that's so crucial because you could be in hospitality, you could be in manufacturing, you could be in water, wastewater. You know, if you've got somebody at the top who's not really bought in, and I know that's very culture bought in. Those are buzzy type words that everybody wants to use. But there's really a purpose behind that. And it's, you want to be a part of the team and give everybody, what they need to be successful. And if you're not out walking around the property and pointing out places that could be improved, you don't really have a lay of what's going on in your operation. So I think that was one thing I took from your story is, it's not just your folks that are going out there and doing grunt work or turning wrenches or Don scrubbing pots. It's everybody's mission and goal to be a part and improve as a team. So I really love that. I'd love to hear from Angela, just from your experiences, something maybe crazy or that something that just uprooted the day for a customer.
I don't know if it's necessarily crazy, but I had a couple things come to mind. So the first one is, a tire sensor. So, safety in the car, it's a big deal. And I had an experience where, the light comes on the tire sensor and it's telling me I need to go get it checked out. And so that alone, to be able to go and be notified to get my tires, because I got to get my tire fixed. So just kind of relating that to, that's a very minimal, minute thing. But when you take that and you broaden it to, let's say, a factory or, a hotel's critical equipment, or as we saw in our last episode, a ski lift. And if you're leveraging that sensor data off that you can put sensors on pretty much any kind of piece of equipment you can imagine. And then being able to monitor that information and to prevent, maybe it's not, it's probably a bigger deal than a tire, but that's a story that I think of. And then the other one is, I remember a moment where this is in the hospitality industry, and I was on a business trip, and I had literally an hour. How many of us on our trips, we have an hour to be able to go from one meeting to our night session, whatever we're doing, right? And you just want to go back to your room. You just want to put your bag in your room and you just want to sit down and not see anyone and have a moment of solace before you go back into the next phase, right? And so that is exactly what I was doing. I headed up to my room, clicked the key card, locked out. What's going on? This is crazy. So now, there's some hotels, everyone knows, it can take you like freaking 15 minutes to get to your room. Right?
Yeah.
And you're just like,
walk the hotel where Hex Live was in Vegas, the Fountain Bleu. That place is freaking massive. I felt like I was walking 6 miles a day just to get to a damn session. It was
right? Exactly.
Anyway,
so you get to your room and your key card doesn't work, and you just, all of the emotions happen. And you're just like, are you freaking kidding me right now? So I go downstairs. I'm like, hey, my door's not working. 2 hours later.
Oh my God.
2 hours later, they had the door fixed. I had to leave.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't able to get into my room.
Yeah.
So, I mean, those kind of things and it was a battery. It was a door lock battery. You can monitor that stuff.
Of course it was a door battery.
Or you ensure that your PMs, or you ensure that you have work orders that, a battery life is typically 3 years. We're going to change these out at 2 years because we don't want a guest to ever have to experience this. And, that goes into deeper questions. Why did it take 2 hours for a maintenance team to be able to get out and get a door lock battery changed out? That we could go down that trail, but those are the two that come to mind, Ben, that I think, and there's so many stories. Everyone has stories. We could go hours and hours listening to stories, right? But there's ways to make things better. And I think it comes down to what you guys have been talking about is facing the truth, and the truth hurts initially. Looking at our finances initially, when we're young and just like, oh God, So, yeah.
I love that. Yeah. And I love that example. And I kind of want to turn that back to Don and get his thoughts, with something that is a battery for a door lock, and it's at some point going to fail. And maybe it's a brand new hotel and you don't necessarily know it's going to take me 2 years until I need to replace it or until it's going to break. At what point do you start to, or where have you seen hotels or anyone in the business start to like change that reactive to preventive style of thinking, especially, and you say the wear and tear happens every day in hotels, and I totally get it. You have a bunch of people coming in, staying, reusing, and then you're on schedule to clean all of that up and then get the room ready for the next person. How difficult is that to flip that thinking from, we just got a report from a guest that this broke, time to go send somebody out? What is that like, in the industry?
Yeah, the smarter operators are ones that are saying, you know what, we're running 75, 76, 78% occupancy, and we can run higher if we want to, but we need some downtime to fix our asset, to invest in our asset, invest in our people, where that is more important than today's profits.
Whoa.
That culture is more important than today's profits.
Don, you're just saying that people matter over profit? Huh? Is that? Did I hear that?
What a thought.
Whoa.
Got to write that down. And I used to say in my training classes, get a tattoo, but I stopped saying it because people did, they would just want to get a tattoo for any reason at all, So, but yeah, it's investing in your people, and it's listening to your people, and it's investing in your asset. You nailed it, Angela. I mean, it's you got to have your PM, and the people that are looking longer term. Let me back up a step. And I love something you said, Ben. We could sit around all day long as we get older, right? And I'm getting older faster than you guys are, but someday I'm going to be on the porch with the grandkids, and I promise you, I'm not going to talk about food cost or labor costs or even profits.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about all the cool stuff we did with the people we worked with the guests that we had, with the things that we did that were revolutionary, like what we're talking about, incorporating that and making us better at what we do. That's what we want to talk about, So, yeah, you can have all the EBITDA you want and all the profits you want, but that's not the stuff that's really important at the end of your life, at the end of the day, to be honest with you. I'd give up a few dollars to invest in my people, and I'd give up a few dollars to invest in my hotel so that I could keep going, So,
yeah.
And those are the smart operators. They get it. And I wish I could tell you that the majority, they're not.
Yeah.
They're select.
That's wicked and very unfortunate. I've been doing some research here recently. I've been putting together a presentation that, in my opinion, I hope it changes. I hope it lights a fire in this world. And part of the research in this presentation that I've been putting together is how many leaders in manufacturing or asset-intense industries are more focused on next quarter's earning statements than the sustainability. And when I say sustainability, I mean the long-term sustainment of keeping their company alive. And I think it was about 88% of leaders, CEOs, COOs, are more concerned with the next quarter's earning statements than the 5-year roadmap. And I mean, it makes sense. It's how they're incentivized in a lot of ways. So we're kind of shooting ourselves in the foot and then blaming it on somebody else, which is, I mean, we could probably dissect that rabbit hole all day, every day. But the other thing that I also found interesting is individuals that are pursuing higher education, like MBAs, for example. And I'm not trying to take a good old steaming hot take on these people. I'm trying to keep it a little clean here because I think you guys know what I was about to say. But I'm not trying to say MBAs are the bad guys. But in manufacturing, which I know this is a little separate from hospitality, but in manufacturing, only 3% of MBA graduates have any experience with what an actual shop floor looks like and how it operates. But yet they're making decisions on how to cut costs improve efficiencies, supposedly, and make decisions that affect the business line, having not experienced what life is like down on the floor level. And so this ties back into your good GM story of walking the property. I believe it's in the book, The Toyota Way, or it's Toyota manufacturing culture. They call it a Gemba walk, a GEMBA. I forget what specifically that word stands for, but it's basically every morning you as a leadership team with the key people, you go walk the plant floor and you identify the deficiencies for the day. What's going to keep us from meeting XYZ planned rate? And that's the same thing that the smart operators are doing on the hospitality level, is they're putting their hands on everything. And I'm going to come full circle on this, I promise. So just bear with me a second. But Ben mentioned setting the tone, right? And this is a question I'm going to pose to you in just a minute, Don, on the leadership side. The leaders do set the tone, right? And you don't always have to be in a leadership position to set the tone for everybody else. I want to make that very clear. You can be a force of nature in any position that you have, whether you manage people or not. But my story on setting the tone, and I'll keep it super brief. I've been in the Army Reserves for about 10 years now, and we were on a rifle range one weekend, and it was, I think, May, and we were in Fort Knox, Kentucky in May. It was pretty hot. It was pretty warm, and we were doing some cool stuff. We were shooting a lot of guns that day. The company commander, who is the officer in charge of the company element, more times than not when we do a range like this, they're doing commander stuff, planning meetings. It's known that we're not going to see them, and that's okay. That's all well and good. But when they do show up to the field, or when they do show up to the rifle range, it is important, because when we are the Joes and we're looking at the commander and he's here with the first sergeant, we're like, why are they here? What are they doing? And more importantly, when they leave, are we gonna immediately go to the smoke pit and just be like, these assholes, they don't know what they're doing. This is stupid. Why am I out here sweating my back off for this mission? This is so dumb. You lose faith in the mission. You lose the loyalty. But this particular instance, we're in our fatigues, and the Army issues you physical training wear, shorts and a T-shirt, basically. And it is a big no-no to show up to the rifle range wearing shorts and T-shirt. Who the hell is calling me right now? Dude, leave me alone, Lockburn, Ohio. Jesus. I'm in the middle of a story, dude. Anyway, so I remember I got off the rifle range, and I was hot, and I was tired, and the company commander showed up, and he was in his PT uniform. It's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We've been out here sweating all day, shooting guns, trying to make him look good from a metric standpoint. And Captain Chang shows up in his shorts and a T-shirt and tennis shoes. And everybody, even the senior NCOs immediately on the firing line, were like, this is a joke. This is the biggest joke in the world. And so why do I tell that story? The company commander sets the tone. And when he doesn't follow the basic standard or the basic rules, it erodes from there all the way down to the bottom. And that is very applicable in a business standpoint. Dude, this person is... I even have my phone on Do Not Disturb.
I think it's Hollywood. I think they caught the first episode.
They must have, right? It's not even on. It's not even on YouTube yet. Somebody's hacked into the system.
Somebody caught it already. It's that good.
But what I was trying to get at before I've been interrupted by my dang phone that I thought I put on Do Not Disturb 4 different times is that setting the tone angle of you got to be out there and you got to do it, because if you're trying to do this cultural element you've talked about a lot, Don, it starts from the beginning. So my question to you on this is, when you're working with a client and they ask you, Don, why is my hotel not meeting the expectations? Why? What's usually your response? Where do you usually point these people to in the direction of that?
First thing I'd like to do is to get their opinion on why they think it's not maximizing its potential. And it's a myriad of reasons. And one of those reasons are probably, I can't find good people. Okay? To find, you can't find them. What's happening? Well, today's people, Don, they don't have social skills. They only know how to relate to their phones. They don't want to work. They show up to the interview in their pajamas. I can't find good people. That's typically where they start. Okay, Alex? And what you find out is you've got probably at that site, you probably don't have a leader. You have a manager. And what is the difference? The leader has a vision. The leader can lead people because they will it. Their passion is so strong, and they're willing to show up at a shooting range in what they're supposed to be dressed in, as opposed to a golf outfit, right?
Yeah.
They're leading. Managers are just going to take what they're given, and they're going to try to maintain and do the best they can. So the difference could be the fact that we don't have leaders as much as we have managers. And you need both, but you got to have that leader, right, driving this thing. And only then do you stand a chance of hitting 7 out of 8 cylinders. To answer your question properly. So I try to find out from them where they think they're coming up short. And then we'll do our assessments. We'll shop them, like I told you earlier. We'll phone them, try to book business. I'll walk the buildings. There's not enough eye contact. There's no plus ones going on. What does that mean? I expect this. I want to have something even more than I expected. So where are all the plus ones? And then when you finally sit down at the end of the day, you say, look, you're just an average hotel, just like the hotel up the street. And there's no real reason to stay here that you've given me. So let's go earn this business. And here's how you do it. We show them a blueprint on how to do that. And in our case, it's a 2-year plan where we're delving into sales, service, leadership, and culture, and every bit of it's reinforced. And at the end of the 2 years, they re-up. We've had clients for 8 years, 13 years. You mentioned the Army. We've had the U.S. Navy for 13 years.
Nice.
People don't realize they have 86 hotels all over the world. The Army has hotels all over the world. The Air Force does too.
Yeah.
And these are big houses, man. These are 3,000 roomers. These are 2,000 roomers. These are big houses. But that's typically where we start, and we don't end. We usually lose a client because they sell the asset, and the new owner comes in and says, we don't need training. We'll just rely on the brand to train us, right?
Yeah. You're like,
that's typically how we lose a client, is that they sell the asset, which is okay because we'll have new clients then, right?
Yeah. That's good. That's good stuff. Well, I think we're getting close to tying this up and putting a pretty bow on it. So before we do that, time for one last question. And Ben, let's flip the paper real quick.
Ooh, I love it.
Yeah, right. All right, let's get off road and get a little off script here.
Flip the script.
Let's bring us home, man. Bring us home. Question whether it's for Don or Angela or a point. Let's swing this baby home and over the fence, man. I'm gonna let you do this one.
Yep, getting put on the spot. I'm just gonna try to grab a question and put it in my head. First, I appreciate you both being on. I think having these discussions and conversations, this helps no matter if you're in hospitality or if you're in another industry and you're just kind of looking for where to start on, we talked about continuous improvement, leadership and having a mission, stated so that you're headed the right way together as an organization. My question, and this is for both of you, whoever wants to start, and we can kind of get both of your feedback. For an asset-intense industry, there's a lot to worry about. And I think we've mentioned a few times about the labor shortage and how that's causing issues across the board. We're looking for people. What can organizations do, whether in hospitality or elsewhere? What are some of your recommendations from what you've seen as far as how to address that? You mentioned having clients who have 300-room buildings, and they probably only have 1 or 2 people to manage that and maintain it. Where do you start there? That's such a hill to climb, mountain, dare I say it. What's your recommendation on that, and where to start? Where do you kind of get your feet under you to tackle that?
You want to go,
Don,
Angela? I deal with this every day.
You take this. This is completely your bread and butter right here. You
I love this question. My favorite question of the day, in fact. Write this down, viewer. Ready? Care more, period. Do more, period. Communicate more, period. What does that look like? You asked me earlier, Ben or Alex, I think it was you, Ben, that said, hey, look, when does the culture piece start? It starts in the interview. And you indicate to this individual that their future is important to you. They can go up the street and get 25 cents more an hour at the canning factory. And if you ask the typical front desk person, why do you work here? It'll break your hearts, guys. They'll say things like, I need the money. Okay, good. Everybody needs the money. It's close to my house. My friends work here. That's a better answer than the first two, right? My friends work here. And then it stops. Nobody says I work here because my boss cares so much about me. They're helping me become the person I want to be, not what they want me to be, what I want to be. And what I want to be is a fireman. And I'm working at the front desk of a hotel. But that boss knows there are skills he can teach me, an EMT. He can teach me to be that EMT. And they care enough to meet with me once a month. And we sit down informally. And we don't just talk about the skills we need to do a better job in the hotel. But now he turns it around and he says, so what are you doing to become that EMT? What are you doing to become a fireman? Oh, I've got school. I got this. Hey, look, I don't want to chase you out of the building, employee. I want you here as long as I can keep you. But I want to know what you're doing on your own behalf because I did something for you. What did you do for me? You said you wanted to be a fireman. I called up the local fire station and I got lucky and I talked to an older guy by the name of Gus. This really happened, Alex. And the guy's real name was Gus.
Love it.
And I said, Gus, I've got an employee who wants to be a fireman. And he's a great front desk associate. I've had him for 3 months. And I want to have him for 3 years, but I don't think I can. He's too good. And I want him to become who he wants to be. Would you mind having a cup of coffee with this employee? And of course, Gus is going to say yes. And now you tell that employee, I called Gus. Here's his name. Here's his number. Have him into the hotel. Have coffee on us. Find out what it takes to become not just an elite front desk associate, but an elite fireman, because it's probably the same skills, right? That's what it takes to earn having people who are elite working for you, working with you, right? That's what it takes. And I would go out and I would liberate every single person I could from every single business. So let's just focus on maintenance people, right? We don't see them as part of the equation of a culture building, and we need to. They're critical people, obviously. Mm-hmm. So where would I go look for those people? I would go looking at apartments because I think hotels are sexier than apartments. You turn a unit, you got to clean the carpet, paint the wall. How boring is that? You got a lot more dynamic things going on in a hotel. So I think it's a more fun job. Maybe I'm wrong. Probably pays the same. I don't know. But I think it's a more fun job. So I'd be looking at apartments and I would liberate those people and I would earn their trust and I would earn them staying with me for as long as I possibly could have them. But I'm going to help them become the people they want to be, not just who I want them to be. Is that cool?
Oh, yeah. I love it. Great answer.
Yeah.
Don, that's so good. It really comes down to the people. And I would even add to that, if someone's applying for a ski resort, they get a certain number of passes, or they get to ride a certain, create incentives beyond just paychecks that show create the care. To your point, Don, that show the care, create the care, get creative with showing the care, because it really is about the people. Man. Yeah,
we work in a hospitality world. That is a fun world to work in. It really is
so fun.
It is.
Yeah.
But where I thought you were going with that is, I remember the days when I worked the front desk at the Marriott, and my GM would come out before he went home every day, and he'd say, Farrell, how many rooms do we have to sell? I'd say 13. How many reservations? 15. He said, we're going down with 4 rooms because we'll have no shows, right? And I'd say, no, we're going to fill up. And we may have to walk 1 or 2. And he'd be like, nah, you're going down. But if you can fill this house, prime ribs on me tomorrow night.
Let's go.
I laid the railroad track for that guy, right? The prime rib was great, but you got tired of prime rib, believe it or not. So you want a hamburger one night, right? Or a cheeseburger or a grilled cheese, something simple. But you'd lay down on the railroad track to prove to that person you could do it, right? And he knew what he was doing. Plus, when people came to my front desk and said, hey, where should we go for dinner? The prime rib's awesome. I have it all the time. Wow, that's great. How many times do you go into a restaurant and the waiter or the waitress they've not even tried the food, right? Or a front desk associate at a hotel. They don't even eat in their own restaurant because they can't afford it, right? So come on, people. Have some fun with people. Care more, do more, communicate more. Period.
I love that. Man, this has been good. This has been a lot of fun. Don,
I hope this was worth your while. I hope you got what you wanted.
This is worth every bit of it, and certainly. I'm going to talk about it here in the recap in just a minute, but I just want to say, Don, thank you for joining us today and sharing your wisdom, sharing your expertise. Don, this isn't a question on your opinions. This is an easy question for you. If people want to find you and call you and try to turn their place around, how would they do so?
Thanks for asking. The name of the company is Fresh Revenues, so it's www.freshrevenues.com. I'll give you my cell phone, 731-514-1589. Call anytime.
He heard it here. He said call anytime.
I do. I work 24. I'm at dinner last night, 9:30, celebrating my son and my daughter-in-law's birthday, and
Wonderful.
the phone rang and said, client.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm at a dinner, but I can talk. He said, no, go back to eating. No, you got me, man. What's up?
Yeah.
That's me. So
I love
anyway.
Love it. Don, thank you for being here. Angela, it's great as well. Thank you for joining us with Don, and thank you for plugging Don into this. You were very instrumental on teeing up Don, and I was joking earlier, I talked to Don on the phone for probably maybe 15 minutes last week before this, and I think I knew within the first 4 minutes this was going to be incredible. Just with a lot of like-mindedness here, and so that's just one reason why I was thrilled to have you and learn from you, and I'd love to have more conversations with you when we can. So Don, Angela, thank you so much for your time, your efforts, your energies, and we will catch you on the next one. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Appreciate
guys.
that.
Thanks, y'all.
Bye.
Man, what a lot to unpack on that, huh?
Yeah, I think we kind of hit a lot on, it's not just about the maintenance side. I think we've talked ad nauseum already about just how maintenance is perceived as more of a mundane task or just, something you throw money at and you're not really getting anything out of it. I think from what Don and Angela shared, we're focusing in more on the people side of it. And that's what it's all about is you want people to be happy. You want them to feel confident that they're coming to work and doing something that they feel is powerful. And, whether they're in maintenance or a front desk person at a hotel, in hospitality, it's all about having leaders they'll go out for you. They'll go to bat for you.
Yeah.
But then vice versa, you have people who are doing their job and they support the folks that are setting the tone and laying down the law of, this is who we're going to be and this is what we aspire to. So really, really appreciative of Don and of Angela for being on. That was a fantastic piece.
It was. We talked so much about the importance, not only culture, but just earning business, right? I don't care what job you have. Everybody has a customer. Doesn't matter what you do. Everybody has a customer, and you have to earn their loyalty. You have to earn their business. You could be maintenance in a plant or a hospitality. Who's your customer? Your customer is the building, the facility that which you take care of, and the people that occupy it. And your mission is to deliver success to them. And so we talked a lot about how to earn that, how to facilitate that, and that was just incredible. So this is phenomenal. Well, thank you everybody for coming to the Stop the Madness podcast, the one podcast hosted by a technology company that has absolutely nothing to do with technology in the last 2 episodes. So that makes me more excited than anything else. We haven't even talked once about what type of technology solutions we're trying to solve these problems with. But that goes back to what we said on the first episode. People, process, then technology. And I can definitively say that even though we're in episode 2, we are probably the minority that's talking about people and process versus the technology component of what we're trying to do here. So to those of you that listen and watch, we thank you for being here. Next episode, we are going to continue to round 3 on hospitality. We're going to hopefully hear some real life stories from the people that are working in these hotels, casinos, facilities, you name it. We're hopefully going to get some real life stories on that, and we're going to dig a little bit deeper into episode 3 and 4. What are the solutions? What are the technologies out there that can help enable this and can help find you the success that you're looking for and give you the stepping stones to get there? So we'd love to see you on the next episode. If you want to get a hold of us, digitalthinker.com is our website. If you want to get a hold of Don, rewind the episode about, 15 minutes. I can't remember his phone number, but he told you what it was. So give Don a call. And if you have any other additional information you're looking for, reach out to Angela Overstreet at Hexagon. Thank you so much for being here, guys. We'll see you on the next one.
Thanks, y'all.